safety is number one
Yes.
when it comes to rallying.
Right.
And a lot of issues people get is things like whiplash.
Right.
You know. So the hands device, usually you just put it, you know,
To take care of your neck.
take care of your neck.
So it puts it firmly in
In
place.
case of impact or anything, then you know your head does not move.
Right.
Then the helmet
Right.
usually now would come on top,
Right.
and you plug, you know, these corners of the hands device,
Right.
like that. You clip it on that end, then you pop the helmet
Right.
on.
Right.
So in case of any impact, if the car rolls or you name it,
You're covered.
The helmet covers your head.
Right.
Then the hands device
Right.
protects your neck so you don't move.
So both the head is covered
The head
and
is
the
covered
neck is
and the
covered
neck
as
is
well.
covered.
Right.
Then the seat
Right.
on which you're sitting on in the rally car
Yep.
has actually been custom made for your body.
So like they come and
So
measure you
my
are.
body,
They have
the seat
taken-
is meant for me.
right.
If you go in, Daddy,
They'll have to do another
they'll have to do
customization for
another
me now.
customization for you.
So these seats are not standard.
And it covers all even the side, so that the head, you can hardly turn it
Right.
in case of an accident.
Right.
Yeah. So those are some of the safety measures that are imperative.
So in effect, the seat is
motorsport.
actually not a standard seat.
It's not a standard.
It's customized
No,
for you,
customized for you, and drilled on the chassis of the car,
specifically for you.
specifically for you.
But I also noted your overall. Do you call them overall or what do you call this
Yes,
one?
the overall.
The overall.
Yeah.
I noted it has a date on the back.
Yes.
It has a date, like yours says
called-
not valid after 2031.
Yes.
What's that
That
about?
is called the homologation number.
Homologation.
Homologation.
Right.
All these equipment
Yep.
has been homologated.
Right.
So that you cannot go past a certain date.
Right.
Again,
Right.
purely because of safety.
Oh man, we need to introduce this show because there's a whole lot more coming, man. This is the Goldmine show. Today we are excited. I'm sure you can tell by now, man. We are having the rally edition. We've just come from Vasha on WRC. After 19 years, it came back to Kenya, and we just want to talk a whole lot more about that and so much more. Don't you ta-da-da. Want to welcome you to the Goldmine show. Follow us on the Goldmine on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. And my guest is none other than Mr. Njiru here, Mozella. Bro, man, we need to take a seat because you need to tell us a whole lot more about this.
Thanks
man.
for having
But
me,
it looks
bro.
like safety is a big deal on the
Number
rallies.
one. Number
It's a number one thing.
Before you ever get into the car,
Right.
safety is paramount.
Right.
Without that, never get into rallying, and no one will let you rally.
They wouldn't even allow
If
you
it's
to.
safety, they won't allow you.
You mentioned some of this stuff is actually fireproof as well.
Everything is fireproof,
Everything.
right from my vest.
Fireproof.
That's a
This is fireproof.
This fireproof vest.
Right.
My innerwear is fireproof.
Right.
The socks, fireproof.
This is fireproof as
The
well.
shoes, fireproof.
Whoa.
And they all have, again, the same expiry date, homologation date,
Beyond which,
beyond which it's a wrap.
even the guys officiating won't allow you in.
You said they won't. That's why you have something called scrutineering. Scrutineering is about checking all the safety components of the rally car, the individual in terms of gear, and then now preparedness for the actual rally. So if you fail scrutineering, it's a wrap.
And I'm sure there's some people who have prepared, but at scrutineering, they are thrown off.
I'm one of them.
Oh, you are one. Sijaribu
But
kuchomea,
again,
lazima.
ni kwa
Yeah.
sababu ya usalama.
Kabisa.
Because pure safety.
Right.
About 25 people didn't make scrutineering for the main WRC
Right.
because of one thing or the other. And it can be very small, minute details, but are critical
Right.
to the safety of the individuals, the spectators, and everybody else who's involved in rallying. That's why safety comes first when it comes to motorsport.
And so no matter how small you think it is, if you don't meet that threshold, too bad.
It's too bad. It's too bad. You fix it before the rally date, they give you some time to fix it.
Right.
Or if you can't,
Yep.
then it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
But looking back, then you would say, if, for example, yourself, I mean, that's the only reason why you didn't participate in this rally per se. Looking back, I'm sure you're grateful that you didn't because of the safety matters and all of that stuff.
It's painful, Dennis, to be honest. When you're starting off, it's painful when someone tells you you can't rally or you can't participate in the event because of 1, 2, 3
And you've been
that is,
preparing.
that is human nature.
Right.
You've prepared for years
You're
for
right,
it.
right.
But as a rally navigator or a professional, sometimes there are some decisions that you make that are extremely tough in the face of everyone who's watching. You're disappointing a sponsor, you're disappointing spectators.
Right.
But you look at the big picture.
Yep.
If I went into the rally without that safety component on my fuel tank, without that cover.
Like yours specifically was some cover.
Was some cover at the back, the fuel cell cover.
Right.
The tank came in, but whoever, again, we imported the tank from didn't ship that particular bit.
Right.
So it's not a part that was available in country.
Oh, no.
So yes, we can rally.
Yep.
But I cannot drive if my mind is telling me you're not safe. You don't have that thing behind there.
Right.
If you hit those rafts in Kedong and you roll or your fuel spills, you have a huge fire. You become a fireball.
Absolutely.
So you make some calls that are very, very unpopular.
Right.
But in hindsight, you know that, look, I did the right thing.
Correct.
And it's not that rallies are over. We have about 5 more rallies left this year.
Right.
We have WRC now for another 5 years.
Right.
So we live to fight.
And actually, we have said we'll be having it almost every year.
Yeah, 5 years now. We've got it for 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes even in life, it's good to know when to quit. It's good to know some battles not to participate in.
Right.
Yeah.
Boss, man, I mean, shall I offer you a seat? Because, man, this Toro is a serious one. Karibu, and have a seat. Let's just have them right in here, man. They need to know we are on the rally mode, my friend. Vasha has extended to the Goldmine show. Right? We're having Vasha on the Goldmine show. You know?
Yeah. It doesn't get better than this.
It doesn't get better than this, man.
Vasha things.
Vasha things, my friend. I mean, it was a big deal.
It was.
Vasha was big.
It was. It was massive. It was massive.
Everyone was in Vasha, man.
It was massive.
Right.
And I think it just shows you also the appetite that this country has for, good events, well-organized events.
Right.
And coming out of a period where we were locked down at home for a long time.
No, because of COVID and everything.
Everyone wanted to go out.
Right.
Everyone wanted something out there.
Cabrita.
And if you think about it, of all the sports, this is an outdoor sport.
Right.
So even in the midst of the corona pandemic, you're out there in the fresh air. You can keep your distance. There's a lot of space around. And it's a family event also. So you can bring your family in, which is very different from being in a stadium where you're locked in and you're controlled by way of numbers.
Right.
Here we had about 7-8 spectator points of which you could go, and it's in the vast wilderness.
Right.
So it was a fun, I think, family event.
Yep.
And a way of just also bouncing back as a country and just showing resilience.
Correct.
That, look, there is a lot beyond the pandemic. Let's not just be clouded by this, but let's go out and do something that is fun.
Right.
And something that is nostalgic. Because I think for the bulk of people who came there,
Yep.
or even who brought their families and all, they were driven by nostalgia.
Right.
A lot of people would say, in our days. Even for us, when you talk about it, the kids, they're like, in our days,
You guys.
we would spend 24 hours, out in the night watching the rally cars.
Right.
So there was a lot of nostalgia.
Right.
Then these young guys who had never seen a rally, because if you think about it, none of them has seen a rally.
Right.
Because the WRC has not been in Kenya 19 years.
Right.
So
that's a long
then,
time, man.
Yeah, then if you are 1 year old, that's when you saw it, and now you're 19. So they wanted to see, what is this that guys talk about rally, how it used to be fun, those world championship drivers.
Right.
It was a great opportunity.
And I remember growing up, man, Easter was just a time, and it used to be muddy in there, man. It used to be a lot of action.
It was fun. It was action. And that is where our dream, even for us who are in rallying today, that's where it started off from. You're going out there, watching these cars.
Yep.
And the Shekhar Metas, the Joginda Singhs.
Yep.
For me, there are other people who are not even the big heroes of the days. There was a couple called Prem and Pauru Choda. The late Prem and Pauru, it's a husband and wife. Sort of a rally
Driver
team.
and navigator.
Driver and navigator.
Right.
We used to even say they used to carry pancakes in their car when they're going for their rally. But those were inspirational sort of stories. You're like, man, one day
I want to be
a
here.
man and the wife are doing this. These guys have come out there, they're enjoying it. They're pushing cars in the mud.
Right.
It was every boy's dream.
Oh man, it was just beautiful. And by the way, not just boys, even some girls.
And girls too. And girls too. And you've seen a lot of them also coming into motorsport now. Yeah. So it was really everybody. It was a family affair. It was a family event.
Correct.
And that's why when you look at Naivasha and the people who turned out there, of course they're the young guys who are coming in for their other Muenjoyos
Yes,
also.
yes.
But if you look, there are so many families there, that parents have come out bonding with their kids and outing for 3 or 4 days out there.
Right.
That's what it was, a family thing. And
Right.
that is what really we need to propagate. A lot of these family-oriented events and activities,
Right.
and carry on that nostalgia even for other generations
Absolutely.
beyond
You
ours.
can imagine the children
Yeah.
that came with their parents in there and
Yeah.
the memories they carry
True.
out of that stuff, man. I mean, it is
And talking of a memory, Dennis, that's where mine comes from. My
Right.
passion starts from a memory.
Right.
I was a small boy,
And take us back to where you began with all this rolling.
and that's where we're getting to.
Yeah, man, take us back to where did this rolling stuff for you, job, man, come from?
It starts, everything in this world starts with a dream.
Right,
And there's no dream that is too big.
Right.
There is no dream that is impossible.
right,
The only limitation is you not wanting to actualize it.
Right.
Or feeling that the dream is bigger than you.
right.
My rallying spark came from a time, I think I was about 6 years old. I used to watch the cars back in Meru, which has been split now is the greater Tharaka-Nithi, where I come from, the home of votes.
Yeah, the votes at Kuja at Asata now.
The home of votes. So, and
Right.
we came with my dad to Nairobi,
Yep.
and the rally cars at that time were parked at Serena Hotel, in the
Right.
parking lot at Serena.
Right.
And we walked around and we were looking at all these cars.
Yep.
And my dad, sort of let me get close to one of the cars.
Yep.
And I remember very vividly the driver of that car actually letting me sit inside the rally car.
Now that's quite something.
And this is a rally guy nobody even, I don't think guys even remember him or know him. But
Right.
for me, I remember the guy because
Right.
the name was there.
Yep.
He was a guy called Mesheni Musa.
Where?
Yeah, he was one of the back-end Charlies, in rallying.
Right.
But the fact that
Yep.
the guy allowed me
He
to
let you
step
in.
inside that car,
And you sat
sit
on it.
that rally car,
Hold on to that wheel.
actualize,
It did something for
it
you.
did something for me.
Completely.
And I remember in my primary school years,
Yep.
I composed a poem called Safari Rally.
Yeah.
Ndoto, it was called Ndoto.
The dream.
But Ndoto yangu,
Yeah.
the dream was about Safari Rally. And it was talking of how I took part in the rally and how I conquered guys. And then, at the end of it is like, I climbed down the podium and the president came to award me the trophy
Oh.
for winning the rally.
Yeah.
Nilipoenda kumsalimia mtukufu rais, mama yangu akaniamusha. That's what the ndoto. That's what the ndoto.
Just
That's
before
what-
put
before
your hand-
salimia nichukue kikombe, mama yangu akaniamusha. But you see, if you think about it, that was a dream. I was actually thinking through, reliving a dream, a passion,
Man,
and
you
something
speak
that I
about
wanted
it like
to.
it was yesterday.
Yes, that's the nostalgia. Yeah,
Right.
and you see, for me to reach where I am today, is to encourage anybody, even the young guys who have dreams. No dream is impossible.
Right.
So just to carry on to the story, after that I decided in later years, I went and I would see the cars, and I had the privilege of meeting one Mzee Azza Anwar.
Right.
And
The legendary
the
man.
legendary Azza
Right.
Anwar. And he let me into his garage. Yeah.
Right.
And in the garage I did everything. Over weekends I have spare time, nothing to do. I would sit at Azza's place, carry spanners, learn a few things about cars
Right.
here and there.
Right.
And in the process, he sort of got me into his mainstay, into
But
his
how did
team.
you connect with him for you to be able to get into that space?
There's a time he was being sponsored by Kencell at
Right,
that time. He used to
right.
drive a car written yes.
Yes,
Yeah, the
right.
answer is yes.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Right.
So out of that, just approaching him.
Right.
And I figured out, where is this guy's garage?
Right.
Where does he fix his cars
Yeah,
from? Yeah?
yeah.
And I ventured there.
So you went looking
I went
out for him.
looking for it. I went looking for the guy.
And that's important, Job. When you talk about price of a dream, it doesn't find you sitting underneath a mango tree anywhere. You've got to pay up some price for that dream. You've got to wake up to realize. After all, your mom woke you up, so we might as well, now that we are,
Now that we are awake,
now that we are
we
awake,
better do
we might as
something
well work
about it.
towards it.
True,
So you went looking out for the guy.
I did.
And said,
I
man,
did.
my name is Job. I'm fascinated by what you guys do.
Yeah.
I just want to hang around you, man.
Exactly.
Give me a space
And-
around this space.
And I mean, I hung around not just one Saturday. I
Right.
mean, it didn't come on a silver platter that this guy is welcoming a stranger onto the garage.
Right.
No, it was consistent.
Right.
I would come there. I learned who he is.
Right.
I talked to the mechanics.
Right.
Yeah. We became friends.
Right.
Yeah. And consistently, I have Saturday, I have time in my hands. That's where I would go and spend my time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And learn the ropes.
Wow.
And now I had the chance to touch the actual rally car.
And
I mean, it was right there.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I spend my time.
And they could see your commitment
And
and
they can see
passion
commitment,
for it.
passion. I was already working at that time, so I had the good skills in administration.
Right.
So I said, look, I think my skills can be used here. Yeah.
This is what I'm also
This is
bringing
what
on
I'm
the
going
table.
to bring on the table.
Right.
Yeah. Your spanners and everything are tossed around everywhere. Why
Yeah.
don't you take inventory
Yep.
of what spare parts do you have?
Right.
You know, how many clutches do you have? How many brakes do you have? List them in an inventory somewhere. And then when you're putting them on the service van, can you know what part is where to bring in efficiencies into what it is that you're doing?
Wow.
Yeah. So people start seeing value of what you can do.
So you began to make that recommendation.
You start doing it.
And they begin to take it up.
And they take it up. And that has been my core driver in everything that I've been doing, even my work.
Right.
Is take initiative.
Take initiative.
Do
yes.
beyond what it is you've been called to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do it.
Just enough does not cut
Enough
it.
doesn't cut it, Dennis.
Right.
And when I started working,
Bossman, you need to say that again. I mean,
Yeah?
sometimes enough, just enough to get you through. Never
enough,
cut
it doesn't cut. It doesn't cut. It doesn't cut. And it has to be one driven by passion.
Right.
Yeah. And you don't need a godfather
Right.
to propel you or to throw you up there.
Correct.
If you believe in yourself,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and you know that, look, I can do this. And what difference can I do better than what these guys are doing today? Yeah.
And you need to keep
What is
looking out
my
for
mark?
that.
You know, everything you do must have your signature.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People must feel that Deno was here.
He was here.
Yeah. You come in, you hear Goldmine, it has a signature
Right.
of Dennis and team
He
on
was-
it.
they
Yeah,
were
he
there.
he was here.
Right.
Yeah. And that has been the philosophy of life. Yeah.
I mean, in effect, you went and added value even to Azar's garage.
Yes.
You
And
added value.
and that's how you earn trust also.
And they also then
Because
begin
no
to
one
consider
gives
you a
you,
part of
no
them.
one gives you power. You grab power.
Right.
Yeah. You grab power.
It's never
no one
given.
will come and tell you, Dennis, you are powerful
Yeah,
today. No.
yeah, yeah.
You grab it.
Right.
You grab it.
Right.
And how do you grab it? By doing things better or bettering things that are already there. I'm not saying they didn't do anything. They did a lot for him to be a champion.
of
And a
course.
Safari Rally champion.
Must have been a great team.
It's a great team.
Absolutely.
But I looked and I saw a gap and I said, I can add value
Right.
to what they are doing here. And he trusted me
Right.
and welcomed me into his family.
Right.
And out of that, Azar's son, a young guy called Shaza Anwar,
right.
and I
Right.
started building a car parallel
The
to
two of you.
Mzee's rally car. Yes. So we just got parts from everywhere. Our car was called a Mchuzi Mix. Yeah? Up till today, it still exists and it's called McMende the Legend. That's the name of the of the machine.
McMende?
McMende the Legend.
The Legend.
Yes.
Right.
That's the name of that rally pickup. It
Right.
has a name for itself.
Right.
And for about 3 years, we built that car ourselves.
Right.
Everything. Mzee helping us, with all the technical, he's an engineer, helping us with all the specs, building it. Shaza and I putting time over the weekend, also building our own car. Yeah, we joined training rallies, with him, and I did a couple of training rallies, learning how to drive, learning the ropes about rallying. Then I went and even wanted to do navigation to understand how do you read pace notes.
Right.
So I looked for Mzee called Abdul Sidi,
Right.
yeah, who had a rally academy. Yeah?
Right.
And we were the pioneer students of Abdul Sidi,
Wow.
yeah, rally academy, to learn how to read those rally notes, to understand how is rally. You don't just get into a car and drive.
Right.
You must understand how is this game played.
Right.
Yeah? And for you to succeed in any
The
game,
rules of the
you
trade.
must know the rules of the game.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So we had to study. Yeah. And
So
spend
you actually
time.
enrolled yourself
I
in the
enrolled
school
myself
to
in the
learn
school,
this.
and it is free. Abdul has been offering these, classes for free. Yeah.
He still offers them?
He still offers them. And you see, and that's why, people sit and you'll see someone in the rally and you say, they have money or the family is loaded. That's how they made it.
I mean, that's a perception. I mean,
That's
rallying
and
is a
that
game
is
of
the
the rich.
perception, but that is the perception.
Right.
But you have to go there and figure it out.
Right.
How do I navigate around it?
Right.
Yeah. Sponsors don't come and give you money out of the blue.
Because there's a skill
You must
required.
build your name also.
Right.
We must know what am I investing in the no for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So building that car was our way of starting.
Right.
We were using inexpensive parts. Let me tell you, we are the only crew that would drive to a rally with our car. It is the one taking us home, and it's the one taking us to the rally. And it is carrying our spare parts because it was a pickup.
The same rally
The same
car.
rally car. So when we reach now, if it's Mombasa, we drive from Nairobi to Mombasa in this rally car. We remove the tires, put rallying ones, we remove the spare parts, yeah, do everything, you know, low budget kabisa.
Completely.
First rally, Eldoret, we finished. I think we were 13th overall.
On your maiden one now.
Maiden rally.
On this car that the two of you have been working
Now
on.
this car, you don't want to break it because it's the one that's taking you home. From Eldoret to Nairobi, you must get
So
transport.
you've got to take care of
So
it.
drive it. Be competitive.
But remember, it
But
has
just
to take
remember,
you
you don't have spare parts like everybody else.
Whoa.
This is your transport home.
Right.
Yeah? And,
Take
your
care of it.
and your employer is waiting for you on Monday in the
And you
office.
have to be in the
And you have
office.
to be in the office. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
that's how the journey started. Finished the first rally.
Right.
We decided, can we try the second one? So we had to ask Azar because he was also rallying, he was also competing. And you see, our families were and friends were chipping in money to help us. Whatever tires he's not using in his car because he was a speed master, then they are thrown our way. You know, we put on our car. Did the second rally, finished. And slowly we started convincing ourselves and
That we
building
can do this
confidence.
thing.
We can do this thing.
Right.
And that year, there are 8 rallies in the year. We did all 8 rallies.
100%.
And we finished all the 8 rallies.
Whoa.
In fact, we got the award for the most consistent rally crew
Wow.
in the country during that time. Having an 8 out of 8 rally finish.
Which is 100%.
100%.
Right.
And we had a top 10 finish. In that same pickup, we also had a top 10 finish
What?
in that year.
The same pickup you
The
must
same
take care of
pickup
to
we
you
must
home.
take care to take us home. Finished the rallies, was among the tops, the only crew with 100% rally finish, and I was on my first year Navigator champion. On that first year, yeah,
Boss, well done, man.
Yeah.
Well done.
yeah, Navigator champion that year with that
With that same pickup.
With that same pickup,
Wow.
and out of that, and God is always faithful. I always say that, and I say to reach where I have reached, really, it's by the mercies and grace of the Almighty. Sponsors now started looking at us.
They are seeing some
They are
consistent
seeing some
guys.
consistency.
They
They are
always
seeing
finish.
people who are finishing.
They are there. They are
there.
diligent.
Yes. Went in, I joined up with a guy called Isa Amwari.
Right.
We built another car. We got a sponsor at that time.
Right.
And we had a very good finish. We even had top 5 finishes in our very old
Are
car.
you for real?
Top 5, yeah.
Now it's moved from top 10.
Top
It's now
10.
top 5.
We're within top 5.
So progressively you're growing.
We are within top 5. We're within top
Absolutely.
5. So a sponsor from Meru, and I thank Ramesh from Meru,
Right.
Silver Spread.
Right.
He bought a car.
Right.
And he gifted us the car to
Wow.
rally with, yeah. A car, an entire rally crew, yeah. Everything was, we became wachezaji wa kulipwa. You know, we became now in the leagues of guys who are sponsored, yeah. And we have a drive. Everything is taken care of, yeah. And that built again my rallying career.
Wow.
Again, another Navigator championship, yeah, into another division, yeah. So let me just put it, we've progressed that
Over
way.
time.
Until today, we sit in what is called the Premier Class. Premier Class is, in terms of rallying, is the top 10 drivers in the country sit within the Premier Class of rallying.
And you need to tell them you're still on the Goldmine show. The premier class is on the Goldmine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're where the gold is. The Goldmine show.
I know.
Yeah, and
Whoa.
and that really is, in a nutshell, is the journey when it comes to sort of rallying to where I am today. Yeah, and a bigger focus, just tying it back to what you are asking,
Yep.
is looking at the young people.
Right.
How do we help them? How do we help them join motorsport?
Right.
How do we nurture and build these dreams?
Right.
Really, that's where I want to end up to be, because
Absolutely.
I don't think I can sit in the cockpit for too long.
Yep.
I can be doing maybe 1 or 2 events, because I mean there's a lot of nostalgia that comes with
I
rallying.
think sometimes I almost imagine that then it must be addictive. Once you're in, you want to be part of the action.
Yes, you want to be either organizing,
Right.
you want to be part of the mix,
Right.
or have the time when you sit out on a rock to spectate, you're the narrator, you're just saying, happening, I would have done this.
Because you can see yourself
You
in
can
the
see yourself in it with all the ideas. It's like watching soccer.
Right.
Everyone knew what the team should do. Like in
Absolutely.
the last few games of Euro, everyone knew what should be done,
Right.
but they didn't do it. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but we're there.
Absolutely.
But that is again only on the rallying circuit.
Right.
When it comes to normal road driving,
Right.
Rally drivers are very respectful of the rules of the day. You will not find rally guys just speeding about. You will not see them breaking the rules and trying to pull all the stunts they do on a normal road, because there's a discipline that comes with that. And rallying, you need discipline. It's not about a loud car in the streets and, doing all sorts of tactics. We started the show talking about safety, talking about we cannot do that about rallying out there, and we don't take care of the common citizenry out there. We have to be wary that we are not in a rally circuit. There are other motor users. We have to protect them. We have to drive and be safe. So for me, my wife is even a faster driver than I am.
On a normal day?
On a normal day, yeah. I sit back.
For real?
For real. I just sit back and let her do the driving.
When you're in a hurry, you should rather be the one driving?
No, leave early.
Yeah.
Yeah, or postpone what you're doing. Leave early. Yeah. If you're in a hurry, then make sure you plan. And that goes back to planning, because rallying is about also planning and also self-discipline. It's about what also you're eating. You don't go eating curry and all those funny things in the evening and you're getting into a rally car the next morning. Otherwise, both of you will be driving the car and you. Yeah? So you have to be very cautious
so
of the
what's
diet.
a diet like for a rally driver?
I mean, we try and really eat healthy. Yeah, like in the evening, we avoid a lot of stewy things. You want energy foods. You want pasta, maybe something like ugali. For me, I prefer ugali and my vegetables. Yeah, stuff that it will sit in, but it will not disturb me. Yeah, and then a lot of fruits also. Because in rallying, you have to rehydrate a lot. One thing you do is that you lose a lot of water. The tension, you sweat a lot. I mean, it's really tense in there. Every rally, I'll drop at least 2 kilos minimum because of sweating, concentration. Yeah, so you have to rehydrate a lot, eat a lot of fruits, and generally just stay fit. Because it's endurance. It's endurance. Yeah.
I'm just figuring myself up. Just gotten in, and like we had the other day, and I start the rally, and we have been flagged off.
Yep.
I try to imagine what is that like, and what immediately kicks into motion. I mean, there's a lot of public expectations. You probably have a sponsor on one side. There are people out there. What goes through your mind, and how do you handle these from point one to whatever next?
Once you put on a rallying mind or a rallying cap, you shut out the world. I forget that I'm a father. I forget that I'm a husband. I forget that I'm an employee of an organization somewhere. In short, you leave all your problems and all your issues outside the rally car. Okay?
They're all out.
They're all out. It's about focus. I don't want to enter the rally car and start figuring out, I did not pay for my batis somewhere in the Kamjengo, and the Mjengo will stop. No, you forget about everything. You do not start thinking about, my kids at home and everything. Yeah? Otherwise, I'll not drive. I start having that mind in. Then I'll kick out the adrenaline. I'll not move and I'll not commit. Because it's about commitment. Enter that car, I'm ready to commit.
Every second of the moment.
Every second. I want to hear what is the note. First right into Max brow. Foot down. That's what I want to hear. And my friend, you give it. You don't think, of the world out there. I want the best result. And then in rallying, people often think that if you're fast on the road, you're the number one. You're the leader. You're not. Rallying, you're flagged off. If you look, after every 3 minutes, a car is released. Yeah.
The interval usually
say you start at KICC. And you're going to Kasarani. So from KICC, you're flagged off at, let's say, 1 p.m. We know that the other road users between KICC and Thika Road. So you're given a time. You're told, look, we're giving you 15 minutes to get from KICC to Kasarani. So we expect you at Kasarani at 1:15. They give you a time. So you leave. You're flagged off by His Excellency and you drive off. 15 minutes, there is a time control. The car is expected there. At exactly 1:15.
And you should be there.
All our watches are synchronized. This is a rally. We have what you call rally time.
Right.
So we are all running on rally time to the microsecond.
Wow.
Everyone in the rally.
Right.
So the controllers know 1:15, Job Njiru should be here.
Right.
So at 1:15, I get into the control and the signal, it knows that I have checked in.
Right.
If I check in early, I'll be penalized for arriving early.
You're penalized?
Yes, you're penalized for arriving early.
Why?
Because you endangered other road users probably to get there earlier than the time you've been allocated.
Whoa.
So you'd rather be late
Than earlier.
in rallying. That's the only time you'd rather delay. Because the penalty for being early is worse than for being late. And rally is about time. So if I come in late and say they penalize me, say 10 seconds or 1 minute for arriving early, that is added to my rallying time. So when I'm in Kasarani, I arrived at 1:15, they tell me, look, at 1:20, you start this competitive stage, this circuit.
Right.
They give you the start time, but they don't give you the finish time. So that is the only place now you can drive as fast as you want.
Because there's no one you're endangering.
There's no one you're endangering
There's
there.
no
It's
other
called,
motorists
it's called a competitive stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
what a competitive
that's what
stage
it's called,
means.
a competitive. Yes, competitive stage means we have cleared all the hazards.
Right.
It's all yours.
Right.
Do your thing.
Do your best.
Do your thing.
Go for it.
So you get into the competitive stage.
Right.
Yeah. And there now you
Step on the
you
thing.
step on it.
Go
and
fly if you want.
That's why if you get a puncture, it's to your disadvantage because it will take you maybe say 3-4 minutes to change the puncture. So that is time lost.
Right.
The other guy will have caught up with you, and that's where maybe someone overtakes you.
Right.
Because you had a mechanical problem.
Right.
So you want to drive clean, no puncture, no going off road, and finish that competitive stage.
Right.
So they'll take your start time and your end time.
Right.
And then now they record it somewhere. Section 1, this was your start and finish time.
Right.
And it continues. Section 2, same. The whole process till all the sections for the rallying.
Correct.
At the end of the day, they look who did the competitive stages in the shortest time.
So mainly the competitive stages.
Competitive stages, yeah. Mainly competitive stages.
That's what
that's what, yes. Everything else is nothing, yeah. So when fans are on the highway and tell you, kanyaga hako hapo, he's right there, go, go.
No way.
You'll just go kidogo to make them happy.
Entertainment value.
Entertainment value. But in terms of points, it's giving you nothing.
Right.
It's giving you nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure the 15 minutes I was given, I dealt with
it within that 15 minutes. Then I'm told from this other stage to the other stage. For instance, if you're leaving now Nairobi to Naivasha, they give you the time. They tell you within 1 hour, maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, leave Kasarani, and we want you to check in Naivasha.
Right.
That time is again defined.
Right.
So you have to go in and obey and be there on time. Biggest lesson that I learned out of that is about timekeeping. I am
stickler for time.
Stickler for time.
Right.
Stickler for time.
You want people to
because
respect
you
time.
have to be there when you're supposed to be there.
Right.
You have to, respect people's time.
Right.
If you're gonna fall back, say that you're gonna fall back.
Right.
But again, that is the discipline that comes out of rallying. And that's why I keep insisting that rallying is not just for any, indiscipline or random sort of character. Yeah, you have to take care of your body, of your mind, take care of the resources that you have, because remember, a sponsor has put money, resource into you for you to run that rally. There are rules to follow. Again, if you're a person of breaking, the rules and the norms, again, very hard in that environment to just randomly break rules. And then again, you have fun, because I'm an advocate also. Have fun even at work.
Absolutely.
So even in rallying, at the end of the day, I'm ultimately there to enjoy the sport.
Right.
That is where I distress.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I'm there, I'm in my element.
Kabisa.
I forget all the troubles of the world.
Right.
And it is me.
This is where we are
me.
now.
This is where we are now.
Right.
Let's deal with this now. And let's give our fans and our sponsors the best of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
But it must be adrenaline from beginning almost to, especially in the competitive stages, man.
Hey, let me tell you, when you start a rally,
Right.
to give you a scenario,
Yes.
when you're going into a competitive stage,
Right.
the one thing that you'll always see are drivers at the hedges, watering the nation.
Watering the nation.
because you want to distress,
Right.
the nerves on edge,
Yep.
and you really want to give it your best.
Right.
And from the time you're counted down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. then your mind, you have to start building a rhythm.
Yeah.
Driver, navigator, you have to start building a rhythm.
Right.
So for us, sometimes it takes you maybe even the first kilometer for you to start building, that rhythm. Because here you are, the car is now, you're beginning to fly. You're reading the notes, you're calling the notes. Are you in sync? Because it's like a ping pong. I tell you something, you do it. I tell you it's a slow right, I want to feel you taking that slow right. If I tell you it's a jump, I want to feel the jump coming. So you're always in tune, yeah? It's like a relationship, and you build that over time, yeah?
Right.
And if I get lost on the note, I say drivers don't drive by sight. They never use their eyes when they're driving in rallying. You go by ear.
Drivers don't go by sight.
Don't go by sight. Sight is for you to keep the car on the road. But do you know what is up on that road? No. Do you know where the ditch is? No.
No.
Yeah? Do you know where the left turn is in 100 meters? No, you don't. So the navigator has to tell the driver what is next.
So in effect, it is the navigator giving every single direction of how we go.
Note, 20 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters. The navigator is calling what is coming up next. And the driver's work is, how do I react to what I have been told to do? If the navigator calls triple caution, narrow bridge, that means as a driver I must know, it's a 20 triple caution narrow bridge. I have to know in 20 meters I have to be dead slow. I am going to drive through a narrow bridge. Yeah. So the driver anticipates that and reacts to what he's seeing. So he expects to see the narrow bridge.
And that's what the navigator already
and that's
told
what the
you
navigator
about.
told you about.
Right.
So you have to trust me. You have to trust what I say.
So the navigator is the main guy.
He's the main guy.
In terms of how we're going to move.
Sometimes, we've driven on roads where when you look with your naked eye, you see that road is going towards the right.
Right.
Almost like a mirage.
Right.
But the navigator calls it and says it's a slow left.
And that's
your
fine.
eye is telling you, no, the
So
road
forget
is on
about
the
what
right.
you saw.
Forget what you saw. It's what were you told.
Wow.
And you react to that. And the moment a navigator gets lost on the notes, he just tell the driver DBS, drive by sight. He'll call a note and say DBS, which means I'm lost. Drive by sight. So it's now for the driver to actually now
take over,
use the sight
and
and get a landmark and reconnect to the notes that you are calling until you're like, I got it.
Now
and
I can pick
and
from
you keep
here.
the sync again.
So does that mean as a navigator, you're hardly looking at where you're going? You're permanently on your notes trying to check out where do we go to next?
Precisely. In fact, the navigator seat in most rally cars, you'll find is almost a step back from the driver. The driver sits almost in a position like this where he's seeing the road and everything around it. And the navigator is almost aback. This guy is here. And you're just comfortable holding your notes, and calling every single thing on the note, Let the driver now keep the car where you've told him to keep it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it happens. You sometimes call wrong notes.
Right.
Sometimes you need to control your driver.
Right.
Yeah. Because sometimes the driver can be erratic.
Right.
Yeah. In terms of their mood
Yep.
and their driving style, you can
Right.
see the driver is a bit either aggressive
Yep.
or adrenaline has kicked in and they are really aggressive.
Right.
You slow him down by how you call the notes.
Correct.
So some of the notes that is supposed to be a fast or whatever, you'll either call it a medium or a slow to sort of bring
now you're starting to manage him as well.
Cool the guy down.
Yeah,
You have to manage him. You have to manage the guy. Otherwise you'll crash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. 19 years ago, WRC halted in Kenya. And I wonder what it must have meant for the rallying community when it was finally announced that after 19 years of not having the action,
Aye.
action is now back.